So we're looking at today writing and solving equations, and that would be standards 3.7 and 3.8 all together here. And we've got approximately 32 problems here to do, so this is probably going to be split up into two separate videos here. So we'll just work through, and I'm going to move a little bit slower, hopefully to help you with your comprehension here and review of writing and solving equations. So an art teacher had a total of T markers. He gave an equal number of markers to 18 students and had 16 left over. So which equation could be used to find N, the number of markers each student received? So he had 18 markers. Excuse me. He had a total of T. So T is equal to something, the total. He gave an equal number of markers to 18 students. So that markers, I don't know why they used N instead of M. That makes more sense. But they used N. And he had 16 left over. So if we have, this is how many to each student. This is the number of students. This is the markers to each student. And then 16 left over. You put those together and you'll find your total. So looking here, that doesn't add the 16. This combined, this is saying 34 markers to each student. That's not what happened. This matches. This one says 16 markers to each student and 18 left over. That's not what happened. So H is the correct answer for this one. Carolyn spent $40 to purchase one adult ticket and 5 child tickets for a movie. The price of the adult ticket was $7.50. The following equation can be used to find P, the price of each child ticket. We got to actually solve this one. They've already written the equation for you, so I'm going to subtract $7.50 from both sides. We're going to have 5P remaining over here. We're going to have $37.50 remaining here. Divide both sides by 5. And P is going to be equal to sorry about that. That is not $37.50. That is $32.50. Can't read my own writing. All right. $32.50. And when you divide $32.50 by 5, that gives you $6.50, which is B. What value of X makes this equation true? So we add 2, and 3x, that's the inverse operation up there, is equal to 4.5. I'm going to divide both sides by 3. That leaves me with x here, and that leaves me with 1.5 here. And there's the correct answer. Which value makes this equation true? Add 8. 4/5 P is remaining. This is gone. We have equal to 28 here now. I'm going to multiply by the inverse. And 28 times 4/5 is going to give me 35, which is J. Lauren's first cell phone bill of $72.75 included an activation fee of $36 and a charge of 25 cents for each minute used. The situation is represented by the equation below, where X represents the number of minutes used. They've given you the equation. According to her cell phone bill, how many minutes did Lauren use the first month? Subtract 36 from both sides. We're going to have 25 cents X left here. And we're going to have 36.75 left here. And we're going to divide both sides by 25. And that is going to leave us with 147. G. Rebecca's goal was to save 700. So 700 is what she wants to get. She's already got 220. Okay, so 220. And she's going to save $12 per week. So here's her goal, her total. She already has 220. She's going to say $12 per week. And it doesn't want us to solve it. It just asks which of these equations could help us find her goal. This says 12W minus 700. This is an expression, not an equation. This again is an expression, not an equation. 12W minus 220. Nope, not going to work. If it had said 12W equals 700 minus 220, that could work. But this does not. Okay. 220 plus 12W. Okay, so we've got 220 plus 12W there equals 700. So that is the correct answer there. Taxi company charges an initial fee of $4 plus $2 per mile for taxi fares. Total taxi bill for Uma to travel from a hotel to an airport was $56. The equation below can be used to find N, the number of miles traveled. How many miles did Uma travel in the taxi? So it gives us the equation. We just have to solve it. So subtract 4, the inverse operation on both sides. Inverse operation again. Divide by 2, and we're going to get 26 is equal to N. She traveled 26 miles in the taxi. That's a long way to go. Which one of these is going to make this true? Add 9 to both sides. 7/4 K is equal to 12. You can do one of these. You can divide by 7/4, or don't do both. You can multiply by 4/7. You shall get the same thing. That's going to be 48 over 7, and that will be 7 times 6 is 42, and you have 6 left over. So 6 and 6/7 there. Drinking fountain dispenses water at a rate of 3.6 fluid ounces per second. Haley partially filled a glass of water with water by using the drinking fountain for 3 seconds. So that looks like 3.6 per second. That would be times 3 seconds. This is the water for 3 seconds. If the glass has a total capacity of 12 fluid ounces, which equation can be used to find how much is not filled with water? So this, I can't do these backwards. This is filled with water. And if it has a capacity of 12, I would say that 12 minus whatever water is in there, this is how much it could hold, the capacity of it. And that would tell us how much is not filled. Okay, so I'm looking for some sort of adaptation of that. So this multiplies 3.6 times 3. This multiplies 3.6 times 3. These two add it, so I know H and J are going to be out. Now, is it going to be a 12 minus what's not filled, or is it going to be what's not filled minus the 12, which is supposed to be the capacity? You can't take what's not filled. Okay, draw yourself a picture, right? You got a glass. Let's put you some cool, clear water in there. Okay, so look at this. This segment is what's not filled. No water there. This is what is filled up with water. And then all together, we've got the total, right? The capacity. So if we have a 12 in capacity and we subtract the not filled, we will find how much water there is. Can we take what's not filled and subtract the capacity to find the water? No. Okay. So the one that's correct here, you can't do not filled minus the capacity. It has to be this one. The total minus what's not filled. Okay, this is the x. And this is the 3.6 times the 3 seconds. Okay, so you could subtract the 12 minus the 3.6 times 3, and that'll give you the x. Or you could say 12 minus the x is going to give us the 3.6 times the 3. Long way around to get that is the correct equation. Mr. Kendall bought a new car for a total price of $22,500. He received a rebate of $1,500 and will pay the remainder of the price of the car in 60 equal payments. The equation below can be used to find P, the amount of each payment, in dollars. What value of P makes the equation true? $1,500. We're going to subtract from both sides. They gave us the equation. All we have to do is solve it. 60P is equal to 2,100,000, divided by 60, and P is equal to 350. 21,000 divided by 60 is 350. Correct answer is A. Can you hear me now? An empty water bottle has a weight of 1.2 pounds. When full, the bottle holds about 1.11 pounds of water. Which equation best represents the relationship between X, the number of these bottles that are filled with water, and Y, the total weight in pounds of the filled bottle? So it's going to be a Y equals, which kind of stinks because I can't roll anything out just from knowing that. The bottle itself has a weight of 1.2 pounds. It's a big old water bottle. When full, the bottle holds about 1.11 pounds of water. Okay, so which equation represents the relationship between X, the number of these bottles that are filled with water, and Y, in pounds, the total weight? So it's going to be 1.11 pounds plus 1.2. But we got to figure out where the variable goes. Where does that x go? Does it go with both of them, or does it go with just one of those numbers? And the answer to that riveting question is it goes in both places, for the reason that the 1.2 pounds is per bottle, and the 1.11 pounds is per bottle if each of them are filled up. Okay, so it says the number of bottles that are filled with water. Okay, so that means these are like terms, so you're going to actually have a 2 and 31/100ths x here. Correct answer here is D. See if we can get one more in less than 60 seconds. David filled his fish tank by pouring pitchers of hot and cold water into the fish tank until it was full. He used 8 pitchers of hot water. The number of pitchers of cold water he used was one less than 2 times the number of hot pitchers that he used. So this is the cold. If he used a total of 17 to fill the tank, which equation would he use to find? You're actually going to add these. This is 3H minus 1 is 17. They did not combine their like terms, and the correct answer on this is J. Stay tuned for the next segment.